So, this one's gonna be again about the Way of the Seal. I guess it is called, I don't remember, but it is actually the book summary that I'm going through at the time, which is about, he's called Mark Devine, and he was a former SEAL, as well as Jocko Willink was, the author of Extreme Ownership and another book that I even don't remember as well. I even think they've been in the same, like, either they've been in the same team or Jocko Willink was the trainer of Mark Devine. I at least hope that he's called Mark. I don't know, at least. Mark Devine, yeah, he actually is. Wow. But yeah, see you after the intro. After the motherfucking intro. What the fuck is happening? Yesterday we actually started with Principle 2, developing your front sight focus, but I was caught up by meditation, therefore I just went through a quick little article on meditation. Therefore, if you're interested in meditation, I would totally just check out the other one, the first episode, no, actually the second episode of it, because there I just talk, I think it actually is a pretty long one, about meditation and the different forms of meditation and the benefits of the different forms of meditation, which are actually all the same somehow. But yeah, this is what we been talking about yesterday. Yeah, we're just going ahead, I guess. We are just going ahead with the motherfucking summary. The thing that we went through is prepare the mind. So we actually go through 4 tactics. I don't know what the tactics were for, unfortunately. 4 strategies you can use when facing challenges and obstacles. Now I know it again. And the second one is visualize the end goal, which is the next one we are going ahead right now with. Front sight focus, especially when backed up by a powerful and clear set point, can propel you toward each target on your way to mission success. Devine emphasizes the importance of visualizing the end goal. He explains that the end goal may be the goal of the overall mission or just a target that needs to be reached along the way. So as he has been talking about in the last episode, there's a difference between having a long-term goal and a short-term goal. The thing is, the long-term goal is just the long-term goal, which is kind of the end goal of the whole mission or whatever it is. And most of the time, the short-term goal is actually those goals that lead to the long-term goal. And then I've been talking about the difference between tactics and strategy, as strategies are actually the long-term thing and long-term goal, whereas tactics are actually the short-term kind of, goals as well, but I don't want to say goals. It's just the tactics, like the short-term kind of moves that you're doing, the short-term things that you're just doing that actually then lead in the end to the long-term goal. Yeah, this is what it is. Devine explains that the concept of visualization is designed to plant a seed in your subconscious mind. It enables you to picture what the success will look like and therefore enable you to do whatever it takes to get there. Devine uses the example of visualizing becoming the CEO of your company. If you can truly visualize this, then you will be more capable of identifying the necessary steps you'll need to take to get to get the job. I'm really not quite sure which, just because it is so close to think and grow rich. Think and grow rich. I can't talk today. I'm very sorry for that. But it is actually, as such, it is somehow a good book. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's probably one of the better books, one of the better self-help books there are. The thing is, it is about thinking that you're gonna grow rich. Like, nah, not really. Like, you're gonna have to fucking act. It's not about just doing nothing and sitting around, but you think about it. It's really not the way. Even though I've only read the book to, I think, the half of the book. I think really the half of the book, like just exactly the half of it. Just gonna grab my ball. Yeah, I actually meant my soccer ball because I just picked it up back there because I want to play with it while I'm talking here, because it relaxes me a little bit. I seem to be a little bit stiff today in terms of the whole talking part, but I'm not grabbing my balls. I grab just my soccer ball. The fucking hell. But yeah. So I don't know, like it is such a concept that, okay, you just have to think and you just have to kind of believe in it and whatever. Well, yeah, the mindset part is definitely important, and the whole thinking about it and just visualizing it is also important, and it just makes sense as well. But it's not the only thing. Like, the most important thing is that you just do something about it. Like, I can also think about making an episode or recording one, but if I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it. If I'm not doing it, then there is nothing there. Like, well, yeah, I'm just thinking about it. I'm not really acting. I'm rather dreaming or thinking, actually. As you take action in the real world... Sorry? What the fuck? So as you take action in the real world, the new inner version will align your heart and mind with your actions and support your efforts to achieve that desired state. It is totally fine. I totally believe in it as well. Like, the mindset definitely makes a difference. But the thing is, as I said, you just have to fucking act. Like, there's nothing around fucking acting. You really have to act. Understand the mission. And Divine emphasizes the importance of defining the mission before you begin. Very important, very important. And I would also say that if you're just having a group project or you're just doing something like a relatively big project, definitely having a plan is, I think, a good idea. I'm at the time working on my diploma. I do not have a plan. Not a good idea. It's really not a fucking good idea. It really is not. The thing is, a plan is just incredibly valuable and incredibly useful for you, just because, okay, you know where you are, you know how much time is left, you just know the stats, and you just have it basically in your hands, probably somehow. And well, it just, I think, clarifies the whole process. It clarifies the kind of whole situation, maybe. Well, yeah. So it's extremely important. It is an extremely important step that cannot be missed. You need to consider what the expectations are and ensure that these are clearly outlined so that everyone understands. And there, I think it is also very important as a leader to also over-communicate that it is totally okay if somebody does not understand it. Because the fact is, everybody needs to understand the plan when it's definitely about being a SEAL. Like, if one of the group just doesn't get the fucking plan, or if it, well, I don't know, because of certain reasons, it's not so good. It is actually pretty fucked up. Just because, like, I'm just imagining, like, okay, you are in a big fat mission, and one of your teammates just actually didn't get the whole mission in the first place, and now he's just stumbling around the whole kind of fucking mission log, and he's just potentially a threat for the whole group, just because, like, okay, he just doesn't know it, or he just, well, isn't in the kind of mission mode or something. I don't know. I think is I can clearly kind of just visualize at this point in time that it is not good. It really is just not good. It's just a fucking bad idea. It's a fucking shitty thing. So everyone should actually understand the fucking mission. It's crucial, I guess. I think it is really crucial for the whole mission. So if you can have a clear plan in the beginning, you will be better prepared to avoid any undesirable consequences. You'll have the foresight to identify any possible issues that could interfere with your plan and come up with strategies to avoid these. Very important. Very important, even though I guess tactics there would be the better word to use, just because, like, if I remember correctly, and I guess it was from Seth Godin, but I'm really not sure. Tactics are really like the short-term things that lead to the long-term strategy. Therefore, just having the tactics inside of the strategy might be the better option to use. But, like, yeah, I'm debating about fucking words. There's nothing to debate about that, actually, because, like, yeah, no one cares. This is the point. No one fucking cares. Simplification. SEAL uses the term simplify the battlefield to describe the act of eliminating all distractions. Distractions can be found not only on the battlefield but also in the real world. Distractions have the ability, well, isn't the battlefield in the real world unless you're playing Battlefield? Lol. Never mind. So distractions have the ability to draw our focus away from the end goal and result in time wasting and other issues. By eliminating all distractions, you clear the path and allow yourself to see the plan and the desired results ahead of you. There are a few steps you can take in the road of eliminating distractions. First, the Vine recommends you delegate any tasks to other team members that you can. This means that as a leader, your jobs are decluttered and you only have to focus on the bare minimum. Well, it makes sense. It really makes sense that everyone, basically, as I think about it, everyone just then does the maximum of what he or she can do. If I'm just seeing this correctly right now, I'm not quite sure. But as a leader, you do just have your certain tasks you have to do, and you shouldn't really be doing some other tasks that somebody else should be doing just because you're the leader and you're supposed to kind of help the whole fucking group. It is not your task to just do the shit of the other people or to do the tasks of the other people. It is really not what you should be doing. You should actually be leading the whole group, the whole mission, the whole situation. This is your job as a leader, and also be kind of sure that everything is running smoothly, I assume. Yeah. I think this is what a leader should be doing. This is what a fucking leader should be doing. So this means that as a leader, your job, well, I have read this. He explains that if you are blocked down with little tasks, your focus won't be on the mission and you'll leave space for errors, which is definitely not the best thing. Definitely not a good thing. Principle 3. Make your mission bulletproof. Well, some obvious shit again, but as I've said quite often, the obvious shit is often the shit that we kind of forget. At least it is this case for me. I don't know if it's the case for you as well, but I'm gonna read. So there is a reason more than 95% of new business ventures fail within 5 years. Folks don't have the skills to eliminate uncertainty and mitigate risk. Below we'll discuss some strategies Divine suggests you implement to avoid making costly mistakes. And by now I do remember that I've been through this article and the summary already. Still, I'm willing to go through it once again just because, well, I don't remember anything of it. I just remember what I'm just reading at the time. And it's gonna be it's gonna be the exact same thing for the whole entire summary. Therefore, it doesn't really matter if you go through it or not. And, this episode just might be 100 and 200 episodes away, I guess. Therefore, it is totally fine, I guess. Choose the right targets. This really reminds me again as I've been, I think yesterday or the last time, been talking about The One Thing, which is a book that is basically about focusing on the one thing, which is the most important thing. And I guess choosing the right targets is more like, choosing what to really focus on and not choosing to focus on something that is actually not really kind of necessary to focus on because, well, it would just take a lot of your attention. It would just take a lot of your energy, which in the end is pretty unnecessary and which really slows down the whole progress of the mission or whatever you want to call it, like strategy, goal, whatever it is. But let's see what he says or what he thinks about as targets. Divine emphasizes the importance of selecting the right targets from the get-go. More specifically, high-value targets. By doing this, you'll be setting yourself up to bulletproof your mission by ensuring that you can allocate resources to the right places. Divine outlines the FITS, or FITS, which stands for fit, importance, timing, and simplicity. So FITS, FITS. Fit, importance, timing, and simplicity. Process as a way to ensure you are selecting the right targets and that why align with what the fucking hell. And that's why align process your mission. No. And that why align with your mission. I'm sorry, I skipped the line. In order to follow the FITS process, you need to examine each potential target and consider the following points. After my drinking pause. I suggest water. It's a pretty nice beverage. it's pretty tasty. Like it's pretty fine, I would say. It's clear. It has no calories, and well, yeah, you can put some syrup in it, but I would suggest you not doing it because, like, well, we do not need the extra sugar. There's sugar everywhere. Nowadays, unfortunately, still something. Yeah, just because I'm thinking about it. Yesterday I've been listening to something that Gary Vee said, and it really hit me. It really hit me. It was really just one of these things where I then just thought, like, you know what? This guy is right. It is actually the case. And it is basically about health. And people nowadays are actually the healthiest we ever been. In fact, it really is, I think, a fact. The thing there is, well, it is the case. We are just so extremely healthy compared to just years ago. Like, nowadays everyone's working out, everyone's doing their sport, everyone's just eating plant-based food. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people. Just, we just know such a lot more things, or just society knows just way more. And society does also way more for the health of them and for their well-being and whatsoever. Which means, like, saying some things like, okay, we gotta have to eat more healthier and whatsoever, might not be exactly right. Because the thing is, compared to other generations, we are extremely fucking healthy. Like, life expectations are pretty fine. Are really fucking fine. Yeah, what it is. This is what it is. Like, we are just doing pretty fine, I would say. In the end, we are really doing fine. Well, yeah, a lot of people are overweight and so on, but I guess it has been the exact same thing just a decade ago, or 2 or 3, I assume. Maybe not 3, at least not in Europe, I guess, because of war and so on. Or is it? It's actually multiple decades. It's not even, well, let me think. It's actually 4 decades, 5 decades, something like this. 1945, the war ended, at least the Second World War, and it started at 38, if I remember correctly, and the other one was from, I think, 34 to 38, but I don't know. I don't remember. Something I'm not the best at, history. Even though I like it, even though I find it pretty interesting to see how history is just, repeating itself, sometimes, relatively often, whatever. So you have to consider these points to actually kind of see whether the point or whether the kind of strategy, target, goal, whatever you're having, if this is an important one or not. So the first point is, do you and your team have the right skills to reach this potential target? Or is it actually about just figuring out what the most important one is? So in order to follow the FITS process, you need to examine each potential target and consider the following points. And FITS is fit, importance, timing, simplicity. So actually ensuring that your goal just makes sense, I guess, or is a good goal, as I would say, a good plan for the goal. The first one is, do you and your team have the right skills to reach this potential target? Question mark. Is there a good return on investments? In the scope of having a successful mission, how important is this target? Can this target fit in with the prescribed time frame? And the last one is the proposed target simple, clear, and easy to understand? Well, yeah, all of them make sense. And especially I like is there a good return of investment? I especially like this. I'm gonna explain why. Just because I think, like, actually, focusing on shit that is really like, well, focusing on shit that might be hard, might be a tough goal, or might be just a really kind of big goal, but when in the end, there is no ROI, there's no return of investment, why? Why would you then just go for that fucking goal, or for that fucking target? Like, you're just investing in something that you don't get anything from in the end. And well, I just think about, like, okay, just wasting a bunch of probably people and whatever to actually target the friend of some terrorist. Why the fuck, maybe there is some correlation between those two and there is just a reason for it. But let's say there is no fucking reason. It would just be such a target. Like, you're probably gonna waste a lot of people there. Maybe gonna waste a lot of time there, a lot of resources, probably also a lot of money. Like, why? Why? Wouldn't make any fucking sense. And this is the point that I'm willing to make. It takes discipline to focus only on high value targets instead of giving in to the temptation of lower hanging fruit. Life serves up daily. I guess so. Let's see. There are always multiple options. Like, especially because we are all individuals. But there's always just a bunch of different options we can choose from in various shades of life, I would say. Like, always. There's actually the binary shit is really kind of low in supply, I would say. Like, it is not really often the case. Like, okay, when you're pregnant, you're either pregnant or not. If you're successful, you're either successful or not. But, there's certain things. Success is also just really kind of subjective as well. But really, not often is black and white. There's a lot of shades of gray there, most often. So, well, yeah. So Divine explains that you should never settle for the first option, even though you may think it is the best way forward. It's important to always explore your options. There is rarely only ever one way of reaching goals, and it is important that you proceed with the best one. Divine identifies the prop process, or PROP process, as the best way to explore multiple options and decide on the most fitting one. The prop process involves assessing the following questions. The first question is, what are your current priorities? The second one is, explain the realities of the current situation and what options does your target suggest? And the last one is, which path forward will you select? Great question. I like them. I really like them. And now we get to something, I'm finishing up with this one. Communication. Divine emphasizes the importance of clearly communicating the mission. You need to ensure that everyone on the team, as well as any potential partners, investors, or supporters, understand the ins and outs of the mission and the goal or the end goal. Without clear communication, you may not get the support that you require. It is not only important to communicate what you plan to do, but it is also important to make clear why you're doing it. Divine explains that this is also your chance to outline what resources you will need to proceed and who are the leaders. The process of framing your mission as a story creates a visual mosaic of the mission plan, which is easy to digest for a team and others who need to be in the know, such as logistical partners and higher up decision makers. And the last one is dirt dive the mission. Once the mission has been defined and clearly communicated, Divine explains that you need to reconnect with the mission visually. It's important to go over it every morning on an individual basis and again with the entire team at a weekly meeting. This is to ensure that you and your team are up to date and have a comprehensive overall and understanding of the task at hand. Ideally, you will want to include both mental and physical components when you dirt dive your mission. However, sometimes a physical rehearsal may not make sense or be possible. At Medium, it is always a good idea to dirt dive through a mental rehearsal. Divine explains that the benefits of regularly revisiting the mission allows you and the team to identify any potential problems that could arise and come up with strategies to combat these. You also continue to familiarize, whatever, you know what I mean. Familiarize yourself with the mission, so when it comes time to act, what the fuck, you're comfortable and always know what the next step will encounter. And this is going to be the end of the episode. Today, pretty strange episodes because talking is somehow pretty stressed out. I don't know why. Therefore, I'm going to end it. I wish you the best health, wealth, happiness, and also success. And I do hope that you're going to remind yourself on how you're going to be remembered. So basically, your legacy. We have it in our hands, but we can't serve everyone. It is what it is. But yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching, and I see you the next time.